everyone, I'm Rebecca and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to take a look at everything I hope to sew in 2022. I always enjoy watching these types of videos as a bit of inspiration really, but I also really enjoy making them and referring back to them to see just how much or how little I have managed to check off my list. I did two of these videos in 2021, one that was right at the beginning of the year in January, and then another one in July. And if you watch those videos, you might have realized that there were a lot of things I did not really get to. So some of the things mentioned here might actually be repeats of what you've heard before if you've seen those videos, and some of these are new things that I want to make that I'm adding to my list. I'm going to list them in approximate order of when I might make them this year, and I guess we'll just have to wait and see what all I actually get to. So first off, my main goal this year is to sew from the stash. I feel like in past years I did pretty well with that, but in 2021, I just completely went off the rails, both in buying fabrics with no particular project in mind and also in not actually making the projects I had planned, meaning that I had to buy new fabric for pretty much all of those unplanned projects. And it's gotten to the point that although I organized my whole sewing stash in November of 2020, most of the fabric that I acquired last year is just sitting randomly around my sewing room because I have run out of places to put it all. And I really want that to change, so that means that I need to use it for things. So here's what's on my list for 2022. First, as of writing and filming this, I'm currently working on another gunny socks dress. This one winter themed, so that I have a lot more of the year that I can wear it as opposed to just Christmas. Hopefully by the time you are seeing this video, that project is actually complete and will be the next vlog that you see. Next, I was waffling back and forth on a couple of different projects, one of which you've already seen part of, which is the 18th century quilted red silk Brunswick. That said, as I mentioned in the petticoat video, I really need new stays, and frankly, I am just not ready to make new stays yet. So while the rest of the Brunswick will hopefully be coming soon, it's going to have to wait till I work up the courage to also make new stays. Hopefully though, you will see me make both of those parts of the project in the next few months while it's still cold enough to actually wear them. If you follow me on Instagram, which if you don't, then you really should go follow me now at Lady Rebecca Fashions, then you will see that I was also trying to decide on a different option besides the Brunswick, which if you've seen my plans videos before, then you have also seen this one, which is a gorgeous periwinkle confection of a natural form bustle gown. This has been on my to make list for a very long time, and I have the fabric ready to go, but I don't think it will be my very next project. Maybe second in line is kind of what I'm thinking, somewhere around there. No, actually my next project is going to be the riding habit from Daniel Deronda. I am determined. It's finally going to happen. It's been on my to make list for years. I've talked about it multiple times on here, and I almost made it in 2020 where I got as far as sewing together a mock-up before the world shut down. And then almost again in 2021 where I chickened out when I realized I didn't know enough about riding habits. And you know what? I don't know much more now than I knew then, but the one thing that I do know is that it wasn't really until the 1880s that riding habit skirts began to be weird and complicated, whereas this is an 1870s riding habit, meaning I can almost certainly get away with just a really long skirt. The fabric for this has been sitting out since February of last year, and I needed to stop cluttering my room and my mind, so it's finally going to happen. The Daniel Deronda riding habit will be my first project of 2022, besides the gunny socks dress, most likely followed by the natural form gown, then new stays, and the Brunswick. If I can find the fabric for it, I will also slot in an additional project of a me-sized version of Samantha's winter cloak so that I can match my American Girl doll. But besides the stays, this is the only one of these winter themed projects that I don't yet have the fabric for, and it's been a little hard to find in my searches online, so I'm not positive if it will actually be able to happen. One other winter project that I've debated about, just because I have a lot of wool fabric taking up a lot of space, is a new coat for daily wear. I love the blue coat that I made back in 2018, which I wear every day during the winter, but there are definitely things that I know I did wrong with it, and it would be nice to have two coats I can alternate between. Since I do have my blue coat though, the main reason I want to make this is honestly just to clear up some wool shelf space, which is probably not a good enough motivator for me to bump it up the list. Anyway, ideally, I would love to have all of that sewn by the end of March. But I know that's probably unrealistic, especially since by the time you're watching this, I will have actually started rehearsals for my next show, Into the Woods, in which I'm playing the baker's wife, which is one of my dream roles. If ticket info is already available, I will link that down below in the description, but it will be playing in Renton, Washington for 3 weekends in February. And if any of you want to come see it and meet me afterwards, please do let me know. But back to the sewing projects. April marks the transition to spring, and while I don't mind making the natural form dress, say, in the spring, the Brunswick, riding habit, cloak, coat, etc. are really more of winter projects. Therefore, if they're not finished by the end of March, I will likely push whatever's left off until next winter. For spring and summer projects, though, I have two main focuses. One, although I've made a ton of things I can wear to costume college over the last 2 years, I haven't really made any evening wear that would be appropriate for the gala. I thought about possibly bringing Elsa for the gala, but I feel like she's not going to pack well. So instead, I'm thinking about finally making the ball gown bodice for the burgundy velvet ribbon early bustle gown that I made in early 2020. This one right here. I will link to a video on that project down below since it was literally when I started my channel, so I'm guessing that most of you probably aren't familiar with that project. Back in the beginning of March 2020, I had actually mocked up a ball gown bodice for this dress, but once the pandemic started and costume college was canceled for that year, I shelved that project. Hopefully I can find that mock-up again, and hopefully the velvet is still in good condition considering it's been sitting in a pile on my sewing table for 2 years. My other main summer focus is a summer gown. I've been wanting to make a fluffy white early bustle gown since at least last summer, and I have some lovely embroidered cotton striped fabric to make it out of. The one thing is, although I have several early bustle era gowns, I've been using my Franken crinolet under them this whole time, and if you want to know what a Franken crinolet is, you can go check out the video that I've linked up here and down below. And with this being, I think, my 4th gown of this era, it's probably time for me to make a real crinolet. So I would like to make one of those before I make the actual gown. I also will need to purchase the hoop steel to make the crinoline first, and then I can make the floofy dress hopefully before costume college. I'm kind of thinking that I may go for mostly bustle gowns at costume college, so I don't have to pack too many different eras of underwear. At that point, it will be time to turn my attention to fall sewing. I made a lot of daily wear stuff in 2021, so I don't really feel the need to make more for 2022, which is good since I have costumes that I want to make instead that got booted off from 2021. So first up, I want to make something with the purple plaid silk taffeta that I found for an amazing steal at Joann's of all places. When I first got this fabric, I was waffling between 1850s and 1890s, but last fall, when I thought I was going to make the project, I had decided on 1890s. Naturally, I am now back to waffling, leaning a little bit more towards the 1850s. Hopefully I'll be able to make that decision by August, but it will definitely be something from one of those 2 decades. I don't know if I will be making a Halloween costume, which often in the past has meant a cosplay for me. Possibly, if I can finally get the right fabric for it, I will just start on Felicity's Christmas dress, which I had wanted to make last year but had some trouble sourcing the fabric for it. I have loved this Christmas dress since I was a kid, and so I'm really hoping that I can finally get to making it this year. Finally, if I finish that with enough time left before the end of the year, I want to start on another wintry project. This will again depend on what fabrics I can source because this is not coming from the stash, but I so loved doing Holiday Barbie this last year, and there's another holiday themed Barbie that isn't actually in the official holiday lineup whose dress I have fallen in love with. This one right here. Basically, I just want something that screams Christmas, so if I can't find the right fabric for her dress, I may actually go for something like the red and white dresses in White Christmas instead. Or I may realize I don't have enough time for another project besides Felicity before Christmas, and instead I'll dive into my next wintry project, which, depending again on sourcing the fabrics, I really hope will be this gorgeous purple bustle gown that I mentioned in my last planning video and that some of you have already helped to contribute to over on my Ko-fi. So overall, hopefully, most of the projects will be coming from the stash, but as you can see, those projects that do need fabrics need very expensive fabrics. So if you feel like donating towards any of these project materials, I do have a link to my Ko-fi down below, or you can also join my Patreon and get extra perks like early release videos, live chats, and sneak previews of projects. Please don't feel obligated or pressured though. Even just watching these videos and hitting subscribe really does help. Of course, although this list is already a pretty extensive list, I may very well end up slotting in other unplanned projects too, because it's me. Like, I've really been drawn to the mid-1800s cotton dresses lately, probably because of the Kirsten American Girl doll that I got for Christmas. And when I watched season 2 of The Great a few weeks ago, I wanted basically every outfit in that show. I may also do a collab here or there like I did in 2021 with the Gunny Sacks dresses or the historical Disney costumes. So my planning list is definitely not set in stone, but I do really hope that you enjoyed this video and liked getting a little sneak peek at everything that I hope to make this year. What are you planning to make? Anything that's been on your list for a while? Or is there a dream project of yours? Please do comment below. Although I don't have time to respond to every comment, I promise you I do read all of them. And as always, if you liked this video, please go ahead and click the thumbs up icon. And if you'd like to see more videos like this from me, please go ahead and click subscribe and the little bell icon to be notified every time I post a new video. I do post videos here on YouTube twice a week, with my sewing vlogs out on Tuesdays and other costuming content like this out on Saturdays. But I post every day over on my Instagram, so as I mentioned earlier, please go follow me on Instagram. That's at Lady Rebecca Fashions. And again, if you'd like to help support my channel, I do have links to my Patreon and my Ko-fi down in the description below. I'd also like to give a special shout out to my Edwardian level patrons, Sharon and Julie. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Happy sewing!